Cicino and the entire staff for welcoming us and for making this available to us so that we could highlight the wonderful things that are going on here at the school this year. Before we begin our meeting, I just want to ask that everyone please take a moment to silence their cell phones. Will the clerk please read the compliance with the Senator Byron Bear Open Public Meetings Act?
In accordance with Section 5 of the Senator Byron Bear Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the annual notice schedule, which contain the time, date, and location of this meeting, copies of which notices were forwarded to the official county newspapers, to wit, the Herald News, the Record, and the Star Ledger, and a copy of which was posted on the bulletin board in the Bergen County Justice Center and Administration Building, 1 Bergen County Plaza, Hackensack, New Jersey, and filed with the Office of the Bergen County Clerk.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Amoroso? Here. Freeholder Gans? Freeholder Ortiz? Here. Freeholder Sullivan?
Here.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Here.
Freeholder Voss?
Here.
Chairwoman Zur?
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Can everyone please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
February 8th, 2017, work session, all present. February 8th, 2017, public session, all present.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The minutes are accepted. I would like to just take a moment now to introduce our host for this evening. This is Administrator of the Special Services and Technical School District, Mr. John Cicino, and I would just ask if you would be willing to say a few words to us this evening.
Good evening, and thank you, Madam Chairman. On behalf of Bergen County Special Services and Bergen County Technical Schools Boards of Education, Superintendent Howard Lerner, our staff and students, I would like to welcome you to our facility. This building, which houses 2 special services education programs, as well as the administrative staff of both districts, is a testament to your commitment to the students of Bergen County and the exceptional programs that we provide. Without your support, such a state-of-the-art educational facility would not be possible. On behalf of all of us, thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much. May I now have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting is now open to the public. We're going to have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholders bylaws. The board attorney is going to keep the time, and when the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper is going to announce that that time has expired. Please contact our staff, Jared Laus, if you wish to speak, so we have notification and call your name out. And advise also the general topic on which you will be speaking. Lucy Heller.
Yes, I'm Lucy Heller from Park Ridge. Thanks for taking your show on the road. Gave me an opportunity to see this beautiful facility also. The thing I would like to call to your attention tonight is I drive south from Park Ridge, and 2 really traffic hazards I encountered coming here. It is a county road, so at the traffic light at Ridgewood Avenue, if you're coming south, there is a very bright street light that's directly in your view behind the traffic light, and it makes it difficult to actually see clearly the traffic light. So that could be shaded somehow so that it does not interfere with your vision as you're coming south. And the other hazard is getting into this property driving south. It doesn't say no left turn, but there are 2 solid yellow lines. And I was taught that means do not cross. So I went south and turned and came back to get in. But I think it should be clearer to drivers how you actually are supposed to get in here if you're coming south. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Excuse me, ma'am? Ma'am? Would you spell your name for me?
Oh, Lucyhellper.
Thank you.
My town is Parkwood.
Yes. Freeholder Tonelli?
Just for some clarification, when you do come in here, the island extends to a certain point and then disappears to the lines. The sign is back away from the driveway, so I understand where you might be a little confused. The sign's there, but it's not where you're making the turn. It's before you're making the turn because it's not, the island stops. Because I noticed the same thing coming in today.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a way that we can identify it a little bit better. But the sign is, there is a sign, definitely a sign there.
Of course, it's very clear when you leave, you can only turn right.
Okay.
We'll look into that. Thank you so much. Mina Greenberg?
Would you spell your name for me?
I knew you were M-I-N-N-A. And Greenberg is like the Green Mountain, Green B-E-R-G, not U-R-G, that's a good city. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Bergen County, and I came this evening to commend the freeholders for coming to us and to express, and you'll have to forgive my, well, I'm looking for the right word and I can't find it. We're kind of delighted that the board has a significant number of women on it. And we want to commend the freeholders and we want to commend the electorate for electing people for quality and not for gender. So I'd just like to say that. And then I'm done.
Thank you very much. We're actually very proud of the fact that we are the only freeholder board in the state of New Jersey that has a majority of women on this board. So, Barbara King, we're also happy for the men that we get to serve with too.
Terrible recovery.
There are many times that people ask me, how do you spell it, your last name? And I say, it's Queen. It's the king. It's an audible to them or something. I'm here to ask if you have any information about what's going on with the Bergen Regional Medical Center. And if not, how can one find out any information, whether online or sending an email to somebody? The other thing I wanted to say is that come this fall, there will be an election for 2 seats on the Freeholder Board. So you will be hearing from the League of Women Voters of Bergen County to come to a candidates forum. And now that we have this beautiful facility, maybe we can make use of it for one of our debates. We've gone to the one Bergen Plaza on occasion, and we've gone other places, but this is very nice, and there's parking too. Thank you.
Bergen Community College ain't wonderful.
Do you wish to address that, County Administrator?
Ms. King, with regard to Bergen Regional, if your question is related to the fact that the lease was coming to an end with the current operator, so the lease has been extended to October, and the county is now going through the vetting process of interviewing those who have submitted proposals to be considered for the next operator. So that is still undergoing, and we think once we get closer to the summer, around that point, that we'll probably start winding that process down, and we would begin negotiations with the next potential operator of the facility.
Are there going to be any open meetings open to the public to hear some of this information? Or?
There will be some open meetings after the competitive process is completed. So once we probably get to that point in time and we start working on the terms of a contract with a new operator, then there would be more public forums about getting input in terms of that process.
Thank you.
We would be very delighted to receive specific information about when your meeting is.
Absolutely, it will be public.
Thank you.
Mr. Salmoretti?
Salvatore Moretti, Alpine Drive, Paramus. I mailed out a letter and to save the 49-cent stamp, which has just gone up from 47. I'm presenting it to you now. So this is with respect to a GRC complaint in the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. If somebody could trot up here and administer it to you, that would be fine. I, in addition, would like to address the matter involving the Valley Hospital expansion. They wish to extend their cancer treatment center behind the Fashion Center. The issue, of course, is that there is some requirement here as to really what the economics is with respect to patient care. And I know I've been familiar with the matter of cancer certainly since the atomic bomb in 1945. And if you would take a look at your video tube, there is a rather extensive coverage by Mr. Cornwell, who was an associate in England back in 44 and 45. He's also written about Eugenio Pacelli, with whom, of course, I had some experience in Ray Ezra Pound. This is the 285th birthday of George Washington, and in order to commemorate that, I went down to GW in 1960, and in essence finished up in 1972. I have a degree in psychology and a degree in law. Got my law degree from New York Law School, and the prosecutor also got his law degree from New York Law School. Gentleman Jim Walker, James J. Walker, got his law degree from New York Law School, and also prosecutor who prosecuted James J. Walker. So it's an interesting law school next to the financial district. I see I have 2:47 on my clock. Can I have 1 minute?
Just wrap it up, Mr. Kennedy.
Very well. I note that there are many things on the forensic psychology area, and I've noted that throughout the Bergen County library system, there are hardly any books with regard to SAS, S-Z-A-S-Z, as well as people like Ardrey, to whom, of course, I'm quite espoused and participate in the type of development which they have gotten into. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moretti. Kathleen Becker?
Thank you for bringing your meetings on the road. I did see the article in the Record, and I thought I should learn something more about what the freeholders do. I really only hear about them in election time, so I was interested. And also, I have lately gone to two of the county senior centers, the one in New Milford and the one in Midland Park. And I am so impressed with the people that work there. And I noticed that they, from time to time when I have visited, the staffs are less. And I can see that they are serving beyond their capacity. And when I think of what marvelous school systems we have in Bergen County, I'm saying, what happened to the senior centers? there is such a need. I mean, demographically, the seniors are growing, I'm quite sure. And I just hope that you can give them the attention that they need and not cut funds, because I think they're very well used. And the two directors I've met there, Lynn Sullivan in New Milford and Andre Cobb up in Midland Park, they are amazingly dedicated. And I think they deserve your utmost support.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me, just to your point, this board is very supportive of our senior centers, as is the county executive, so I know that my time and the chairwoman's time on this board, and Freeholder Voss and Freeholder Gans have supported our senior centers, although the previous administration had been cutting money to the senior services, we stopped that and we made sure that we're fully funding.
Well, I'm
Yes,
very
you know how
happy to
important
hear
that is.
that, because I was concerned when I saw staffs cut. And their exercise programs are so geared to seniors. And when you go to some of the gyms around here, even when they're called senior, they're meant for like 55 and up, and people that have always been at the gym. And what's at the senior centers is more geared to true seniors.
Thank you so much for your feedback and for taking the time to share that with us. It's very often we get folks who come to the microphone to complain about things. It's always wonderful and very well received when we get to hear about our employees who really are so dedicated and so caring about the work that they do there. So,
Chairman, can I just ask her a question for a moment? You belong to the Milford Senior Center?
Yes.
Or you belong there?
Well, I mean, but I don't go there regularly.
Oh, no, 'cause my aunt frequently until she passed away. It's a wonderful facility.
Yes.
Where I'm exactly what you say we're on board with, but I don't know if you knew Ruth Newball. She was, that was my aunt. And I know that's a wonderful facility, as are all our facilities, and I'm in agreement with Freeholders now that, you know, we're on board.
And they give assistance with cell phones and
Play bingo,
iPads.
she loved it. She's good at bingo. Whenever she won, my kids got money. $1.50, but that's fine.
Freeholder
Thank
Voss.
you.
Yeah, I just want to call your attention to the fact that we in Bergen County were the very first county in the United States to have senior services provided. And we had a very, very extensive group of people and a lot of different services. And we just had our 50th anniversary celebration for all of the volunteers that help us in the senior centers and the different programs. And I just came in contact with a lady who works in the building yesterday, and I didn't know about this program. It's called Cheers. And I said, what's Cheers? And it's about people who maybe are living alone or with somebody who is handicapped. And you can get services from the county for people to come and visit you, to do a little light housekeeping, to prepare a meal. And one of the things that's very disconcerting to me is that we have so many services in Bergen County that people are not aware of. And so one of my missions, and I'm sure all of us feel that we have to go out and let people know what is available so that we can help those who need help or just make life nicer for everybody.
Yeah, if more people know about it, they could recommend a friend or a neighbor, or perhaps
Exactly.
there could be some program where these directors know of people that can't get out there anymore, and you could
Yeah, we
do
could have quite a
some
few programs.
outreach that way.
We have a wonderful director of senior services. Her name is Lorraine Gelano, and if you go online, you can get in touch with her office. And if you have anybody who has any kind of a need, she will direct you to the proper place. And in many cases, there's absolutely no cost. Cheers doesn't cost anything. Meals on Wheels doesn't cost anything. You can make a donation if you wish to. But all of these things are provided.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your input.
Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard? May I have a motion then to close the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All opposed? The meeting to the public is closed. Will the clerk read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions 133-17 through 188-17, and Resolution 190-17.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda as read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
6 ayes, 1 absent.
Are there resolutions, now we're gonna go to the resolutions that have been pulled or tabled?
There are none pulled or tabled.
Are there any on the non-consent agenda?
There are 2. The first one is Resolution 18917, resolution recognizing March 2017 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Did any of the freeholders wish to speak regarding this resolution? Freeholder Voss?
It's very, very important that people are aware of the number of people with developmental disabilities. And one of the things I'm going to address when I make some comments at the end of the meeting is the fact that we need housing for people with developmental needs. We just opened in Fort Lee Monday, and I'm sorry, Valentine's Day, a very appropriate day to open up a building like this. And my dream is to have a facility for people with disabilities in every single one of the 70 towns here in Bergen County. Right now, we have 2 facilities in Allendale, 1 in Mahwah, 1 in Tenafly, and now 1 in Fort Lee. And if every single town did a project like this, a lot of the funding for this comes from United Way, and then there's some money from the towns, and the Natalie Corporation specializes in developing these housing facilities for people with disabilities. And we would have a much, much healthier and happier society if we could continue in every town to develop at least one of these facilities. So this is something very near and dear to my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to add to Freeholder Voss, the county provides significant funding through our community development block grants for this as well. So this is something that the county has been wholeheartedly behind. Anyone else wish to comment? Freeholder Sullivan?
I just want to say that we can't do enough. And this is very important to us. We can't do enough. We need to recognize, as we do here on this board, the school, we're in a special services school. What we continue to do on this freeholder board is fund the necessary programs, and we will continue to do it, as mental health in general is something that's a priority of this freeholder board. And I commend my colleagues to pass this resolution. Thank you.
Freeholder Amoroso?
I just want to do a shout out to Bergen County's Division of Disability Services. We have amazing people there, led by a guy named Jim T-Berry, and they're really moving forth the efforts into municipalities for stigma-free zones and access for all, and it's really become a movement. I know we've done it in my town, Mahwah. The Access for All Committee is very active. So we are doing things in Bergen County.
I just want to add, for me, and we chose to have our meeting here in this place at this time, on the cusp of Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, to really highlight the fact of the services that we provide and the way that we continue to be as a county on the forefront, on the cutting edge of innovating, not just for programs through our pre-K through 21 program, but also in the post-21 arena. We've instituted a new program with one of the pilots in the state of New Jersey for Project Search, which provides different portable work experience for young adults with developmental disabilities. We're continuing to push the envelope, and so much of it comes down to the leadership of Dr. Lerner and John Cicino and all of the staff here in this building. And you see a partnership that goes on between Friendship House and the county school system regarding how we provide for our individuals post-21. And we are committed as a board, and the county executive is as well, to continue to innovate as we see the numbers of folks with autism skyrocketing in the state. We know that we have a tsunami that's about to hit us, and we need to catch up and make sure that we are able to provide housing, as Freeholder Ross talked about, transportation, education, and job training and placement. So we stand resolute. We have, Mr. Cicino, we have a commendation resolution on behalf of the board. Once we pass this, we'll give this to you as well from us and from the county executive, honoring this month. and honoring all that you do. So can I please call for a vote on this matter? Roll call.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes.
6 ayes, 1 absent.
We also have the next resolution.
Resolution 191-17, resolution recognizing February 2017 as Career and Technical Education Month.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Do any of the freeholders wish to speak on this matter?
Yes, you know how I.
I was going to say freeholder, I should have said freeholder Sullivan.
Yes. Yes, I think it's wonderful being an electrician, working with my hands, using my brain. These are some things that we need to support our young kids out there. Because sometimes everyone thinks you only have to go to college. You don't have to go to college. Not everyone can afford college. Not everyone's made for college. These are the kind of things we continue to do as a freeholder board. As I'll echo what I said before, I commend my colleagues up here for doing things like this. This is such an integral part of our country that I think that has fallen by the wayside, and these people need to realize it is an important part of our economy and a great way for kids that aren't college bound. Thank you.
Freeholder Boss?
As a lifelong educator, I can't tell you how important I think this is. All children do not learn the same way, and all people have different skills, but that doesn't mean that all people cannot be successful and very creative. There's a wonderful book called The 7 Levels of Intelligence that I wish every teacher would read, because we're trying to create school systems with a one-size-fits-all curriculum, and this is not the way to go under any circumstances. One of the things I have to also commend Dr. Lerner and Mr. Cicino here, because we have 4 of the most incredibly great schools which should serve as models for the schools in the rest of the nation. And so this is wonderful. I agree with Tom that a one-size-fits-all education is not the way to go at all. Thank you.
Anyone else? I just want to add, that this board has not just passed resolutions supporting and acknowledging. They've actually put their money where their mouth is, where we have seen previous cuts to our education programs at the tech schools. In the previous administration, we had made sure to prioritize funding an approach that finds the talents and taps into the talents of students at all levels, whether it's at our academies or at our tech schools. We are focused on making sure that we're finding and bringing out the best educational opportunities for all of our students. And I guess that goes for the Disability Awareness Month too. It is challenging people with all of their abilities to be the best that they can be and contribute most fully to our communities. That's the point. Can I call for a roll call?
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Boss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zur.
Yes. And at this point, I now would like to present accommodations to John Cicino on behalf of the board. Can we all join together up front and we present these to Mr. Cicino? Sure. Not used to the setting.
I'm never.
We gotta wait for.
We gotta wait for Freeholders to know.
My favorite freeholder.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, will the clerk please, we have introduction and first reading of ordinance 17-1. Will the clerk read ordinance 17-1 by title only?
Bond ordinance funding a temporary emergency appropriation by the County of Bergen, authorizing critical facade repairs to the Bergen County Justice Center, appropriating $1 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $952,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance the cost thereof.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 17-1 as read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans is absent. Freeholder Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Chairwoman Zer.
Yes.
By a motion of 6 yeses, 1 absent, ordinance 17-1 passes first reading.
We will now have freeholder committee reports. This is an opportunity where the freeholders get to share with you the different things that we have worked on in the past couple weeks. And I guess we'll begin with freeholder Amoroso.
Okay. First of all, perhaps a little explanation is in order for that bond ordinance we just introduced. The Justice Complex, the old courthouse, is starting to literally fall apart, the facade. So we've closed that entrance, and we're paying to get it restored. These big pieces of stone that could hurt somebody, so that's why we're doing that. Usually with these committee reports, we talk about what we've done in the last 2 weeks. It's a confessional of sorts, I guess. On Monday, the chairwoman and freeholder, Monday the 13th, the chairwoman, 14th, thank you. And freeholders Voss and Ortiz and I, we went to the Bergen County Animal Shelter, where Senator Menendez was speaking out against the USDA's decision to scrub a registry from its website that lists reports about pet breeders, equine breeders, puppy mills. They just took it down. It's one of the very disturbing things, especially to all of us animal lovers. There are a lot of animal lovers on the Freeholder Board. The following day, or actually on Wednesday, we attended a graduation of Korean-speaking volunteers. They trained for this. They are going to be outreach for Bergen County Senior Services. So the many Korean speakers among our senior citizens, especially in the Palisades Park area, will have some place to turn when they need services or they need to know what services are available through the county. And again, as Freeholder Voss said, we have so many services. So these folks went through the whole training, and they actually did a little Q&A with the volunteers and their leader to show how they would respond to someone seeking help. On Thursday, Freeholder Ortiz and I attended the Bergen County Black History Month celebration. And the focus was on education as a prime tool to bridge the racial divide and put kids on a path to achievement. Our own administrator, counsel, Julia Neal, spoke very touchingly, and we honored a number of educators from Bergen County, and we heard the kids sing, which was the best part of it. I think they were from Hilliard School in Hackensack. And we finished out our week, Freeholder Ortiz and I, at a vegan bakery that just opened in Cliffside Park, and we brought back goodies for our aides.
I didn't get it.
Our aides. This morning, I attended a breakfast sponsored by the Mahwah Regional Chamber of Commerce. New Congressman Josh Gottheimer spoke to a number of business owners, including people like Jaguar Land Rover and Flight Time and Eastwood College as well. The business owners, of course, are eager for federal tax reform, and the congressman talked about that. It was a good exchange. He told us he and fellow Democrats and Republicans, a group of about 40, 20 Republican, 20 Democrats have founded a new caucus. They call themselves the Problem Solvers. And they hope to reach enough common ground that they can actually get some work done, which would be new. Anyway, that's my report, and I'm so glad to be here and so glad you're here. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Freeholder Sullivan.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I won't be too long. First, I want to thank the Special Services School District here in Paramus for having us here tonight. I want to thank Mr. Cicino and Dr. Lerner for all the work they put in here. I guess I know John Cicino now 20 years. It's hard to believe because I look a lot younger than him. So. Tonight, the Freeholder Board passed Resolution 18717, which will authorize the county to rent the Pothole Killer. That's the real name of it. A machine that helps patch up all the potholes on a lot of roadways. The Pothole Killer is just what it says. It blows the water out as it fills the hole, and the success rate is much higher than a regular cold patch. So we tried in years past to get this machine, and we finally got it this year. And this is going to save us money, believe it or not, even though it's not the cheapest machine to rent because we have less damage to the roadways and cars that we're responsible for on county roads. So that's coming on, and that's going to be wonderful. And if you do have a problem with I should turn my microphone on. And if you do have, I'm loud enough though. If you do have a problem with potholes, please call the county and get in touch with someone and let them know where the pothole is. We have pothole crews going out every single day. We also passed Resolution 18417 tonight, which was to apply and accept grants for our veterans, for the veterans. And that is to us here in Bergen County, a priority, number one priority, number 1A. Bergen County is the only county that I know of that has no homeless veterans. And it's something we're proud of, and it's because our county executive, the Freeholder Board, aggressively go after grants and aggressively go after the placement of veterans. And me personally, I'll never turn my back on a veteran. It is why we're all here and why we're able to speak the way we speak. Whether we agree or disagree, it's because of veterans, and I'll say thank you to that. Next week is Read Across America. I get to put on my big Dr. Seuss hat and look more foolish than I do right now. I know many of my Freeholder colleagues will be joining me. Be in Lodi, Garfield, and I have to go to Bergenfield, especially because that's where I'm from and that's where my wife teaches, and I like home-cooked meals. So, in order to maintain that, I will be reading in those 3 towns as of now. If anyone has a town they want me to read in, please get in touch with my staff. It's funny that you read a Dr. Seuss book, and you realize with Dr. Seuss's books, it's all about inclusion, and how that it still rings true today. I think it's really it's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing. Obviously, Black History Month was celebrated this month. Unfortunately, because of the snow, I was supposed to give the closing remarks. I apologize, I wasn't able to make it. It was moved to a day on my union meeting. And I think Dr. Joan Voss filled in admirably for myself and Freeholder Zor, who has school that night. So, thank you, Dr. Voss, for that. I'm sure you were more eloquent than I would have been. But we celebrate Black History Month, and if we don't remember the past, we're doomed to repeat it. So, I will be having a meeting with my transportation committee coming up. We have some issues in TNAC regarding bus stops and crosswalks that we're going to be looking at, that we have looked at. We're going to put a meeting together. And I almost said that would conclude my report, but I have one more thing I need to talk about, and this will be the last meeting I have with my current aide, Warren Oslin, who's moving on to bigger and better things. Warren was with me from day one. Yeah, stand up, buddy. I usually don't listen to Mary. Stand up. Warren has been there for me from day one. He's no longer just my aide, he's part of my family. As my wife said, you know, we're going to save a little money on the food bill now. He knows it's true. He likes to eat. He's been really, Warren, thank you for everything you've done. I wish you luck in your career now that you're starting a real. Warren's going to be going to work for the Port Authority, and he's going to be a wonderful asset to the Port Authority, as he was a wonderful asset to me. It's hard to say the right words, but thank you, of course. You know, I feel like in my business, what we do as electricians, we have apprentices, right? We bring them along to become journeymen. We bring them along, and every once in a while you get that apprentice that you're never going to forget, the guy who you really take a liking to. And I can say that about Warren. I'm going to miss you. I wish you and your family the best of luck. Comes from a wonderful family. And Warren, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Good luck. Thank you. I'm not going to cry.
As I'm feeling the fun.
Thank you. Just want to reiterate a few things about the homes for the disabled in the towns that we have already built them. I want people to know that the people who will be serviced in these homes have sometimes Down syndrome, autism. Some have physical disabilities like muscular dystrophy, and if you are interested or you know somebody or you really like to see about getting one of these facilities in your town, the applications are online. It has nothing to do with finances. It has to do with the number of apartments that are in these facilities. And I wish that everybody would get very much involved in this. I'm very involved with an organization called Project Literacy. And we are living in a county that has roughly 1 million people. Most people don't realize that, but over 100,000 adults in Bergen County cannot really read. They read below 3rd grade level, or they have no reading skills at all. Project Literacy is an organization that helps adults with learning, who have difficulty reading, learn how to read. And it's a wonderful program because it's one-on-one. We match up adults about approximately the same age, and they work together at their own pace. And one of the young people that I brought to this Project Literacy, 28-year-old young man, he had in high school a diploma, but he had never really learned to read. Sometimes children with challenges are pushed along and don't, get the services that they need. He is doing so well that he is now going to be the subject of a documentary that is being made, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am, and I want more and more people to know about Project Literacy. There are several organizations through the United States, but this one happens to be right here in Bergen County, and if anybody wants to volunteer, I'll be very happy to put you in touch with the powers that be. I was very fortunate. I'm like the cleanup man in the baseball game, okay? I'm the one that talks at the end because I always have a lot to talk about. And they always try to make a little history lesson. And as Freeholder Sullivan said, this is Black History Month. And there's so much that you have to learn about the contributions that were made by people of color. One of the things that I'm very thrilled about is in my town, we have the Fort Lee Film Society. Fort Lee was the center of motion pictures before Hollywood, and we had over 17 studios in Fort Lee before they moved out to Hollywood. And one of the studios was owned, I guess, by a director by the name of Oscar Michelle. He was the first Black director. He was brilliant. He was not only a director, but he was a producer. He was the power behind. He made over 50 films, the last of which was made in 1948, so I'm hoping to see some of them. And he was a man way beyond, before his time. And I think that more and more people need to know about the contributions that were made by people who have basically gone without being recognized. The one thing I want to say to conclude is there's a motion picture out called Hidden Figures. The day it opened, I ran to the movie theater to see it because of the fact that I was very interested in the subject matter, having lived through it. And when I got there at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, it was sold out. And so this tells you that people are really interested. This film has been playing in some of the theaters for almost a month. You really must see it because it talks about so much that many people have forgotten about what things were like in the 60s and the 50s. And it gave me a new appreciation of John Glenn, who was one of the nicest, encompassing, embracing people. And it was a lady by the name of Katherine Johnson, who thankfully is still alive. She's 98 years old. And she and a group of women of color were called the computers. They did all the mathematics before we had computers. They were geniuses. And they were the ones that figured out the trajectory to get John Glenn back from space. You must, if I was still teaching, I would make sure that every child in school saw this movie because it's a wonderful, wonderful history lesson and a wonderful lesson that, as Freeholder Sullivan said, if we don't remember the past, we may have to live it again. Thank you.
Freeholder Ortiz.
Good evening. Thank you to Bergen County Special Services, Mr. Cicino, Mr. Lerner. It's a wonderful facility, and I'm glad that we can come out on these meetings on the road and look forward to many more in the future to see all new faces. I just wanted to touch on, we went to a ribbon cutting with Chairman Tracy, sir, and we went to ribbon cutting for North Jersey Federal Credit Union. They were originally from Passaic County, and they had opened a small, more like a satellite office in Garfield. And it got so popular, they couldn't handle the services, so they opened their first full-service Bergen County offices in Elmwood Park. And what makes them a little different is that they actually become a member. As a credit union, you become a member, and you get to be part of all the services they have to offer. And they, unlike a bank, it's just very different because they get the lowest rates, not only for mortgages, but also for small businesses, use the new car loans, and overall, it's just a great way to empower your local community. So they're very involved locally. So I welcome them, and hopefully they can open more branches throughout the county. I also got to visit, I went with a friend of mine who has an autistic daughter, because she wanted for me to visit a wonderful facility in Midland Park called Quest Autism Programs. And they provide services to adults over the age of 21, which Tracy and I touched on earlier. And it's a great program in which they refer individuals like supports after school-based education. So the programs are highly individualized and designed by board-certified behavior analysts, and it's to increase their independence and to enhance community integration. And they participate in community skills, daily living skills, recreation, employment skills, and it's a collaborative relationship with multiple companies throughout the community in the area in which they're in Midland Park. So companies like Becton Dickinson, Moe's Southwest Grill, Universal Supply, they hire all these wonderful participants that they go for 2 to 3 hours a day to work. So basically how the program works is they get dropped off early in the morning, and they do everything. They teach them how to schedule their day, how to do their banking, how to even use an ATM machine, how to use public transportation. It's to make them independent. So most of them have jobs, even if it's 2 or 3 hours a day, they come and they wash their own uniforms. They even have an area in the kitchen where they are able to make their own meals, and they teach just everything. It's every life skill possible that you can think of, and to be part of the community. They go out to restaurants to go have lunch. Like I said, every part of the community. So I hope they replicate this. I know they have in different areas, but I know that this one is mostly by the disability, the DDD disability program, some grants, and they also get from the foundation. But I hope they are able to replicate this. A great program, and anybody who is interested, you can reach out to them. It's called Quest Autism Program.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Forgot to make one announcement.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because I got so overwhelmed, I didn't figure this probably their favorite movie ever. Tomorrow at Bergen Community College at 7:30, they'll be showing Hidden Figures, and it's free of charge. So if anybody has, the opportunity, go and see it. It's the best movie I've ever seen. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. So, quickly, before I begin my report, I'd just like to follow up on Freeholder Amoroso's comments on tonight's first reading of the ordinance. We usually don't comment, but we were briefed last month about the condition of the courthouse, and it just goes to show you the cleanup that's needed to be done in a lot of our facilities since this administration has taken over, just but for the lack over the last 10 to 20 years of infrastructure improvements that have been done, that we've been left now holding the bag in some very, very dangerous situations. So that courthouse is in a dangerous situation where somebody can literally be killed from the falling debris. So now that's left us with the burden of not only having it fixed, but having to find the money to have that fixed. So this is just one example of the things that we're uncovering as we move forward, and that the responsibility of this board to correct. And I know that the county executive and this Freeholder board is very concerned with infrastructure and want to make sure that we move forward and constantly thinking of doing things in a way where it'll last for an extended period of time, so we don't have to revisit this moving forward. We don't just do Band-Aids and quick fixes. So that being said, I just want to draw your attention to Resolution 13917 that we unanimously passed tonight, which helps secure funding for the Youth Incentive Program. These programs have been instrumental in providing funding for the needs of children who are suffering from emotional and behavioral issues since the early 90s. I'm proud to say that Resolution 13917 represents this board's continued support of those being affected by mental health issues in Bergen County. In that same vein, I wanted to just briefly, his name came up a little earlier, mention Jim Thieberry, who I had the honor of presenting Jim with Chairwoman Zord Sunday at the New Jersey Disability State Caucus. At their winter caucus, they presented him with an award for the year as a community advocate for the year for all the work that Jim does. And the funny thing is, he no longer wants to talk about people being disabled. He wants to be calling them uniquely able. So he had a couple of buzzwords that day that was very catchy. I think we should start moving forward using them. The one thing I had said about Jim was, once you meet him, it's very difficult to say no. He has that personality that he pulls you into what he's doing because it's the right thing to do. So I know that many members of this board have participated in Access for All. We've all been involved in a lot of things that Jim runs because of his personality, and he's a lead by example type of person. So I want to congratulate him. And I want to thank my colleagues for giving me the opportunity to present with that commendation this weekend. That concludes my report, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Freeholder Janelli. By way of explanation, you saw us pass tonight a consent agenda, and you've heard different members of our board highlighting different aspects of the resolutions that are passed on that. We have a work session that takes place at 4:30 where we hash out some of the details. We are continuing conversations with the administration regarding some of the questions that we might have. So what seems so seamless up here, there takes a lot of work that goes on to get us to this point. One of the resolutions that I wanted to highlight this evening was 18817, where we entered into a shared services arrangement with Dumont to engage with their vehicle maintenance. It's going to be revenue generating for the county. It's going to save the municipality money, and this is exactly the kind of work that we are doing, to try and innovate and find ways of doing more with less by making government efficient and effective by sharing the services and providing them the way that we need to. I'm so glad that we talked about senior services. One of my favorite things I got to do today, I got to call bingo at the United Senior Activity Center in Hackensack. And it's one of my favorite things because we get to see how we're engaging our seniors and teaching them computer skills. And I met with one woman who was volunteering for 25 years at the center, who's like the pool shark, who manages to have the drop on all the guys there. So, it is wonderful that we can provide supportive services and enriching activities for all of our senior citizens. I went on President's Day, as I do every year, to Temple Emmanuel and Franklin Lakes for our prayer service. Praying for our country. They read the Gettysburg Address in Hebrew. They do the prayers and songs of American tunes rather than the traditional Hebrew ones. I felt that This year, maybe more than others, we need to pray. But it was a meaningful, bipartisan, wonderful expression of community, and that was really, I think, an appropriate way of spending President's Day for me. This week, I also found out that we lost my favorite history teacher. Lou Casella taught at Pascack Hills High School and then went on for another 25-year career at Don Bosco. He was one who prized not alternative facts but real ones and taught us how to find our voices and how to argue our points and how to research. And for me, I don't think I'd be sitting in this chair if it wasn't for him and the impact that he left on myself and on so many others. So it is very fitting for me that our next meeting on the road is going to be taking place at Pascack Hills High School on April the 5th. The one following will be in East Rutherford in June, and the one after that in September in Garfield. These are a wonderful opportunity for us to come out to the community, to get ideas, to talk to residents, and to bring government and show what we do and what the county, the impact that the county has on our community. So we will continue to go and take our meetings on the road. And before I close, two other things. One, I just want to highlight that the deadline for project search applications are March the 30th. As I mentioned before, Project Search is a program for folks in the last year of their education with disabilities. It is an integrative program where you have distinct internships, and then you have the opportunity to come away with portable job skills and active job placement. So this is a wonderful time to sit down and get your IEP and see if we can get that into the schedule for next year and make the application by March 30th. But I also, in addition to saying goodbye to Corin, we have to say goodbye today also to John Zamupio, who's been our deputy press secretary for the last year and a half, 2 years actually now, wow. And who is also going on to bigger and better, and he has been an invaluable part of our family and our team here on the Freeholder Board, making sure that we are getting the information out to the public that we need to, making sure that we're recognizing the folks in our community who need recognition, and more so also giving us that calm demeanor of sanity when we also need that too. John, you're definitely going to be missed in our offices, and while we know we will see you, we certainly will miss your presence on a daily basis on the Freeholder Board, and we wish you the best of luck. So, with that being said, can I take a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, could I just say one thing, if you don't mind?
Sure.
That was a plan, John. She got you, I got to work, okay? Before we close this meeting, and I probably should have said it in my remarks, but I'm glad I didn't, because this should be the last thing I said to you tonight. I want to commend Freeholder Chairwoman Zora and Freeholder Tinelli, who had the vision years ago and made a campaign promise that they would take the meetings on the road. And here we are. We have at least two more scheduled, 2 or 3 more scheduled.
Great.
3 more scheduled. And Freeholder Tinelli, Freeholder Zora, thank you for that vision. Thank you for carrying through with it, because these are not politicians. I call them elected officials. Politicians make promises, elected officials deliver. And I want to say thank you to the two of you for having that vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your solid. Can I get a motion
I'll
to
make that
adjourn?
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you so much for coming out with us.